Welcome, welcome. I'm going to be talking about hypnotherapy and why it works. I'm going to be reading excerpts from Lives Between Lives by the Newton Institute, Michael Newton. I had read Dolores Cannon's quantum healing books and some of these concepts. And it's not that I will never study her, I probably will. But I chose Michael Newton because of his approach to this hypnosis. I'd been doing hypnosis since I was 32 years old and massively believed in it. And every time I would go into my hypnotherapist, I would get the answers I needed. So I'm going to read to you some excerpts because I want you to understand the power of hypnosis. Your passport. To journey into your past lives and life between lives, you need a passport. When you come to us, we provide you with a specialized passport, hypnosis. To get the most out of your passport, you need to know how to use it. Your passport gives you safe passage through the places you visit with your hypnotherapist as your personal guide. In earlier times, hypnosis was thought to be magical and mystical, but it is not as mystical as you might think. In fact, you enter a hypnotic trance every day, which can be described as a highly focused state. Without realizing it, you enter a trance state when you are watching a compelling movie, reading a riveting book, or even driving home along a familiar route. Perhaps you have found yourself pulling up at a home without being able to specifically recall landmarks you must have passed on the way. The sensation is the result of being in a light trance. You pass through a trance state, hypnagogic, every day, once while falling asleep and again when waking in the morning. During hypnagogic sleep, you often receive insight into situation solutions to problems. Have you ever seen a staged hypnosis? Perhaps you've seen them on TV rather than on stage. If so, you might feel uncomfortable with the idea of being hypnotized. However, therapeutic hypnosis is very different from stage hypnosis. Stage hypnosis focuses on entertaining their audience. They choose their subjects carefully, selecting people who are outgoing and laid back, enjoy being the center of attention, and most importantly, are willing to play along. This choice is important because even the most talented hypnotist cannot make you do anything that you truly don't want to do. In contrast, therapeutic hypnosis focus solely on the health and well-being of the individual client. One particular hypnotic method is regression. A regression is a form of hypnosis used to regress you back in time. In this context, the word regress means to revert back to an earlier stage or form. Regression is a safe and effective way of transporting you back into the past. What is this transportation like? Your practitioner helps you relax until you feel safe and comfortable. Once you feel safe and settled and secure, you have no need for self-protection. So here's the deal on that. When I take on a client for hypnosis, I usually have them do one of my, hey, thank you. I have them do a particular guided meditation called soul retrieval guided meditation, okay? And it's on my YouTube channel. And the way you find that is you look at most popular. You literally use the filtering system as most popular, and you'll see it immediately. And it is that protocol that I give my clients before we go into a hypnotherapy for two reasons. One is so they're used to my voice. Two, so they understand how to surrender. They get triggered by the sound of my voice in surrendering to doing the soul retrieval guided meditation. And if they can do that, they're going to have no problems, surrendering when we do our hypnotherapy. In terms of protection, to be honest with you, I do a protection. Here's why. Because the protection is meant to, it's an energetic cloak to make sure that nothing steps in. And this is not to scare the shit out of you. This is just common sense. If I went to do ayahuasca with a shaman, they would actually sage the room and close the energy portals so that only me, my shaman, and whoever else is going to go on the journey would be in that room. No energetic sentient being would be coming into that room except for high frequency sentient beings, for example. So there is a process that I do where I ask my clients to actually sage themselves. And if they're very advanced, I'll have them do the 4 corners above and below, and I'll do it myself. I do it myself. Do I have to? Technically speaking, maybe not, but I do it anyway as a protocol. Then after that, we call, in the induction, we work on your chakras to start the induction. Why is that? Well, you know, before you go on a long trip, if you were going to go 3,000 miles from one corner of this country to the other, you get your oil checked, you get your tire pressure checked, you get everything checked. And this is what I do. To me, working on your chakras and clearing the chakras are very important. And so what we do in the induction is we start with chakras coming from divine unconditional love, source, the creator, the all, the energy that created you as a sentient being billions, trillions of years ago. And we make sure that your chakras are swept clean. We make sure that you're grounded, and then we go and at that point, that's when we start the actual induction. And it seems to work. We've had no issues, none. So at that point, the main thing, and let me continue what he says, the main point is you do not gaslight yourself. Don't do that. This is why sometimes I like to do the Akashic readings first, because when I do an Akashic reading for a client and I'm downloading their past lives on this planet, maybe in Atlantis, Lemuria, which I've done, and definitely in other planets, it's game over. You can't keep, you can't, play small anymore. So that when you do the hypnotherapy, you're like, yeah, okay, got it. I might as well just go with what I'm seeing. Once you feel settled and secure, you have no need for self-protection. So I corrected that. The attention you normally give to staying safe in the world is redirected inwards. Your practitioner addresses any concerns, enhancing your ability to trust and go with the flow. While your body and conscious mind are relaxed, almost asleep, your inner awareness is alert and ready to see or sense images in other dimensions. Let me put it this way. I've actually told clients, if you want to go pee, go pee. In the middle of a hypnotherapy. I'm not joking. And they'll come right back and go right back into that wherever they left off. I've done it. My clients have done it. No problem. What I do ask from my clients is do not, and this is something I insist. I love my pets. I have pets, okay? Do not let your pets in that room at all. Because they will see you going through something and they will sense your energy, and they will want to make sure that you're in a safe place, and they will jump on your chest or nuzzle your arm, as a dog or whatever, to check on you because they love you. This is not the time to allow them to do that. So if you have dogs, cats, squirrels, rabbits, gerbils, whatever, please put them in a different room so that you can go all in. Because that will fuck you up. That will actually, my cat did that. I know. I've actually been through, I'm going, oh fuck, I hope this doesn't fuck this person up. And it kind of, to be honest with you, it kind of does. Okay, because I've seen it. I have to go, you know what I mean? All right, so that's number one. Okay, just so you know. Your practitioner addresses any concerns. And so again, I was trained under the Newton Institute. That's what we're reading from, just so you can get an idea. Your practitioner addresses any concerns, enhancing your ability to trust and go with the flow. While your body and conscious mind are relaxed and almost asleep, your inner awareness is alert and ready to see or sense images in other dimensions. What is mind-blowing to me is that what you can't clearly always see in your meditations, like if you visit the Galactic Council or your guides or other realms, you might see a clear image and then it fades away. It feels like there's a fog or something like, but you still see them. When you go into hypnotherapy, it's as clear as a fucking bell. Like, it's Technicolor, game on. It's the weirdest thing. I don't know, I was astral projecting. I didn't realize I was. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, when you do that, please handle your business and sage yourself and do the 4 corners above and below. All right. Once you are fully relaxed and trusting, you are on your way. You leave the present world behind. Your therapist takes you on a trip back in time through your childhood and into a past life before you transition into life between lives or into a past life. During regression, you may wonder if the experience is real. Now, that blows my mind. Is the experience real? Are you that creative? Like, seriously, do you really think you could come up with that kind of complex storylines that fast? I mean, unless you're Stephen King and you type a mile a minute and your mind zooms into fantasy land and trauma land and whatever that fast, I don't think so. Not going on other planets, not going into a past life in 18th century, Deutschland, and you're a merchant or a farmer, and you're having, and if you're a man in this incarnation, you're a woman in that one. If you're a woman in this one, suddenly you're seeing yourself going, holy shit, I'm a man. Like, nothing goes that fast. You can't even sit and type a short. If I asked you to write a 1,500 word short story, you'd be sitting at your fucking desk for a while. Let me just say. So hypnotherapy, when you start going through this, thank you, my love, when you go through these actual images that are rich in content, at first it can be, what's the word? You're filtering through. You might have a hard time, almost like you're squeezing it out. Don't squeeze it out. Let what needs to come. You're not supposed to force it. You're supposed to let it emerge out of you. It's and if you're squeezing it out, you're not relaxing, you're not surrendering, and you're not going to see what you need to see. So this is why before we move into our adventure, right, I teach you a breathing technique that I call the train, which my twin taught me. And at that point, it moves us from one energy to another. Okay? Of course, you get countdown, you get counted down. From typically 15 to 1 and so on and so forth. But we do want to, if there's some kind of tension in your body or what have you, we want to do the pranayama, which is in this case the train. And the train, in about, I kid you not, 20 seconds, you're going to feel dizzy because you're getting a blast of oxygen, a little dizzy, but it actually within 20 seconds your nervous system is calm. You feel totally relaxed. You're blasted by oxygen. And you can move into what your soul wants you to see. This is common intrusive thought. Trust is the antidote to intrusive thoughts. You develop trust through personal experience, knowledge, and wisdom. Being aware of the evidence for reincarnation and life between lives helps build trust, which is an important quality to take with you on your journey. Well, imagine Michael Newton, who developed that, did not believe in reincarnation at all. In fact, he didn't believe in God. He was an atheist. He didn't believe in reincarnation. He didn't believe in jack shit. He was a hypnotherapist with a PhD who fell upon lives between lives. And here's how he did it. This is how it happened. He basically had a client who had some trauma. And he said, well, let's go to your childhood. And it wasn't there. The nucleus of the trauma was in there. And he said to the client, can you go backwards? Can you go farther back? And suddenly the client was in a past life. Now he thought it was a random one-off. But it wasn't. He started realizing, holy shit, this is not a subjective situation. This is an objective. In other words, a lot of humans. So little by little, he got out of his entrenched ideas of what was real, right? And got into awakening his consciousness into a very expansive place. And little by little, he started working with clients more and more, and they all reported the same lives between lives, past life reincarnation, things of that nature. And he went from an atheist to a believer. You can look him up on YouTube. The man has a beautiful energy. Beautiful energy. Okay, so hang on. Let me see here. All right. You now have reliable evidence of the existence of past lives and of the place we call life between lives. You also know that the key to accessing these exotic places is hypnosis. And the form of hypnosis used by skilled practitioners is safe, comfortable, and reliable. The next step is your journey in the exploration of past lives. Exercise 1. Believer and skeptic explorations. Okay, listen to this. So in my whole time that I've been doing this, I had one client who could not go back at all. Not at all. And the reason why she couldn't go back is she was afraid of losing control. Period. So either there was some trauma in this incarnation she did not want to look at. She was afraid it would happen. In other words, she didn't want to open the Pandora's box and let shit fly out. Or her monkey mind was so unhinged. In other words, you want to talk about ADHD, we're talking about ADHD on steroids. Could not settle, could not relax. So to really get the most out of your hypnotherapy, a week before your schedule, what I would say to you is do some guided meditations, right? Like I said, like the one soul retrieval guided meditation, which I have on my YouTube channel. And, get into guided meditations, do 5-minute meditations. And what I mean by 5 minutes, especially for those of you who really have a monkey mind that's fucking unhinged, I would say 5 minutes. 5 minutes on the clock is going to feel like fucking hell to you. Perfect. That's what we need. You need to retrain your monkey mind so it doesn't fuck you up from healing. Period. End of story. It's it. If you want to heal, then you need to be the boss of your monkey mind. Because right now, if you can't focus on a 5-minute meditation and it feels like everything is howling inside of you, then who owns you is your monkey mind. You don't own yourself. You're owned. You're being played by your monkey mind, just so you know. All right, let's continue. Whether you realize it or not, you have some belief about what happens when we die. Yes, you do. Here's an opportunity to explore some issues discussed in this chapter. Contemplate the following questions from 2 different perspectives: the skeptic and the believer. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, than a skeptic. Skeptic thinks they're smart. They're not. They're fear-filled. Skeptics need to believe that what they have in their hand is real. Believers realize that you can manifest, you can change, you can shift, you can actually heal yourself from cancer and other diseases through the mind. They know it. It's been proven. Skeptics don't believe in shit, even when it's facing them. It's a dangerous place to be because you're not going to be happy. I've never met a happy skeptic, but I've met very happy believers, I'll tell you that. And they've been able to co-create lives that were really beautiful because they believed in the impossible. And they made it happen. And the impossible materialized in the 3D material world. So there you go. All right, let's continue. One after the other, record your answer in a journal. Okay, listen to this, okay? Pay attention. What do you believe happens to us after we die? What are your thoughts about near-death experience? Do you know anyone who has had a near-death experience? If so, what did the person report and how did you feel about it? When I did one of my hypnotherapy sessions, I think I was in my mid-40s. I remember, so we were going for a particular question, right? And in my case, I could do that easily because I've been doing hypnotherapy for at least 13 years by then. And so I had a particular question. But as we were going down the count, I had a death experience. Literally, went right into death. I was on a ship. I was a man. The sun was either setting or rising. It was an ancient ship. Massive. And I was on the deck. Something had happened on my side. I was bludgeoned right in the belly, completely opened up. And I remember, and she said, "Do you want to keep going?" I go, "No, let me see this." And so I experienced my own death in that moment where I looked at the sky that was just infused with the colors that you would see in a sunrise or sunset in the middle of the ocean, a calm ocean. And my thoughts was, this is a good time to die. And I felt my soul come out of my body, and it was absolutely fucking beautiful. And then we continued down into the abduction, where I went to a past life that was completely unrelated to that one, completely. But for some reason, I needed to experience that. Maybe it was closure, Maybe it was to give me courage. I don't know. I to this day, I don't know. But I do know this. I was grateful. I was very happy to have gone through that. So the question is, do you know anyone who's had a near-death experience? If so, what did the person report? And how did you feel about it? Do you believe we have past lives? Why or why not? Why or why not? Have you read about or seen children who remember a past life? If so, what are your thoughts about their stated experience? There's a lot of kids that have reported, their past life experiences to the point of knowing details, names, addresses. I kid you not. Like, I've talked about it before, like literally saying, yeah, I lived here. My wife still lives here. We had a child. She's 34 now. Her name is Jill. I'm not joking. Like, they fucking remember. And what's crazy to me is that people who know this, where the kid has been brought to these past lives when they were males or females, where they met their spouse or their children, their grown children, and gave them details that only that father or mother or lover, whatever it was in that case, would know. And we have recorded evidence of this over, like at least the last 100 years, if not farther back. And people still don't believe that reincarnation exists. Whatever. Let me see. Any questions or comments on that so far? What do you guys... If you don't believe in past lives, why don't you? I think that's a good question. If you believe in past lives, why do you? Any questions on that? Why is it important? I'm going to ask this. Why do you think it's important for us to go into a past life? Why is it going to help you? Do you have any ideas? If not, I'm going to give you something that actually happened to me. I don't want to talk too much about other clients, okay? Not today. I was having massive anxiety in my mid-30s. Massive. Like somebody was going to drag me out of my bed. That kind of crazy shit. It almost felt like paranoia, okay? And so, of course, being me, I didn't go to a doctor to get a script, a pill. I went to my hypnotherapist and said, what is this? And she, well, okay, let's do it. So we went into induction. And the next thing I knew, I was a 19-year-old boy, Russian boy, Jewish Russian boy, in the turn of the century, meaning 1910, 1920, I'm not sure, whatever. And I was in bed with my siblings. It was really, really cold. And it was a dark room with just a window. There was no light, no candle. And it was morning. And long story short, suddenly the doors were kicked in. And all of the masculines at a certain age were dragged into the snow. That included me. And lights out, if you get my drift, okay? We were executed with a whole bunch of other men. And I remember thinking to myself at the age of 19, what did I do wrong? That was my last thought before I dropped that body. And it turns out it was the Bolsheviks. And the strangest thing happened. The minute my soul recognized where that came from, my anxiety, like I used to have panic attacks, I kid you not, in my 30s, was gone. Fucking gone. That was it. And I started getting into the habit of when I had a question, when I was confused, when something made no sense, when there was a karmic loop, an energy that felt toxic in a relationship. It didn't have to be a lover. Though I know in one instance, there was a man who I felt very connected to, but I knew that there was some toxicity, some loops, some karma. I just felt, well, I'm a fucking psychic. I knew that there was some issues. So I went to my hypnotherapist, and sure enough, we had 4 past lives, and they were all fucked up, and they all ended as suicide. And it's almost like we took turns. And so the message for me was, yeah, game over, like get off that fucking hamster wheel, just give him the kiss goodbye, send him on his way, thank him for this connection, thank God we were never lovers, and that was it. And it took a year for me to get over that, to be honest. It actually was very intense, these past lives, and And literally a year after I actually was able to release all of that energy, I went back into union with my twin, which is insane. So it was unfinished business that I needed to go through, and it presented itself in the right way for the greater good. So hypnotherapy for me personally, like, is massive and massive healing. There's no doubt about it. But you have to not be afraid of yourself. And if you're afraid of yourself, then it's not for you. I'm sorry. I remember there were two women. I kept sending people to my hypnotherapist before I got, certified and so forth, years ago. And I was sending people in my 30s, my 40s, at least 50 people. And in fact, I mentioned it in my book, Recall, where, and it's an actual occurrence where I sent a friend, a coworker actually, to be more specific, to my hypnotherapist because he could not sleep on his stomach to save his life. He did not believe in past lives. He did not believe in God. It doesn't matter to me. He was just having a hard time. And long story short, he went because he trusted me. And it turned out he had a past life as a young boy. He must have been 9 or 10. We never really got to understand the country, but then again, he never gave me massive details, or else I would have probably ferreted it out from the clothes. If it'd been me, I would have known, because I have studied fashion history through the ages. So I'm always asking the client, so tell me, what do you look like? Tell me, do you want, a 360? Tell me what you see. What are you wearing? What are they wearing? And from that, I typically can gauge what century within 100 years. You know what I'm saying? 100 to 150 years. But anyway, so he was a young 10-year-old boy. He was sleeping on his stomach. And his uncle that wanted to inherit the title, the money, all of that, it would have been around the 17th century or thereabouts. Again, we're not clear. It could have been 15th century. It could have been 17th century. And muffled him with a pillow. Okay? Basically took his life doing that. When he went through that experience, he actually came to my house to talk about, because he wanted to process it. And so he came to my house and we talked about it. And he says, I don't really know if I can believe in that. I go, well, the proof is in the pudding. Let's see how you sleep less. What happens tonight? I mean, if you can sleep on your stomach with no issues, I guess, whatever. As long as it works, it works. And that night, he slept like a fucking baby, and he slept on his stomach. What would happen is whenever he would land on his stomach in his sleep, he would abruptly wake up. I should have expressed and explained that in more detail. But moving forward after that, and I remember us having a business meeting for our work that we were doing, and we met later on after the business meeting, and he came up to me and said, I want to thank you because I've been sleeping with absolutely no issues. Like, I can sleep on my stomach, on my side, it's gone. I go, well, do you think it was a past life? He goes, I don't know. I don't know. Which still shocks me, because it's like your soul showed you a past life where you had a trauma, and now you know the trauma and you're healed, but you still don't believe you had. People are funny. People, skeptical people are really funny. You can show them a rose, and you can tell them it smells beautiful, and then show them the perfume that emanates from the rose, and you can tell them it's a red rose. Isn't that the most beautiful rose with the most beautiful perfume? And they will always, there must be other roses. It can't be that rose. Maybe there are better roses out there. And I still need to, before I make a decision, or before I have an opinion, let me look at 1,000 more roses. This is how skeptical people move through life. They never learn the one thing and build on the one thing they've learned, building a foundation based on multiple experiences that come to them over time. They want more data before they make a decision. This is fear-based shit. This has nothing to do with intelligence. It doesn't have to do with discernment. That is not discernment. That is fear. Plain out fear. Based on what? Well, they can't quantify why this is real, or why this would actually heal them, or why something could be that simple to help them purge past some scars, past impressions, and in this case trauma, from the way he dropped his body as a child, for example. And did this happen a lot? I wouldn't say a lot, but I know that children whose lives were ended in that way was not uncommon, okay? Because they didn't have forensic people to, say, oh, the cause of death was blah, blah, blah. They didn't have that. They just figured the child died of a fever, died of whatever, and children died of many things constantly, all the time. That's why people could have like 12 kids and have only 3 surviving, kids to make it to adulthood, for example. It was not uncommon. So, hypnotherapy, past life regression in particular, is important. You may actually want to come into a past life regression, right? You may have that intention, and then the soul will say, no, you've got issues with your mom or dad, or you have issues with another trauma that happened to you from an uncle or an aunt or babysitter or whatever. And the soul will not entertain you. It will stop right there and say, let's do this work first. Let's purge this. Let's look at it. Let's analyze it. And then we'll go on to the next. If for some reason a client doesn't want to do it, we can do the pranayama to shift the energies, and the soul will bring you something else that's much easier to deal with. But to be honest with you, in my humble opinion, I feel as if you're going to take ayahuasca, if you're going to do hypnotherapy, if you're on a healing journey, you should go all in my opinion. Now, would I push a client to do that? No, fuck no, I won't do that. If the client says, no, I don't want to see myself die, I'll go, okay, I'll pull you out. And I do. I pulled them out of death scenes, and I've done that with clients where they didn't want to see the end. And I don't judge them, because some people are just not ready to see that. I don't know why, except to say it's fear. And there's nothing to fear about death, because you've done it multiple times. In fact, you're fucking good at it. You've done it multiple times in multiple ways. Trust me. And I think you know that. So, I mean, there's nothing to be afraid of. However, some people still can't manage it, And that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And any questions or comments on the hypnotherapy? And anything at all? Anything at all? Jessica Awakens. Let me see. All right, so I was playing around with cards, and I want to kind of look at the energies in the room and to kind of give you an idea. So hang on for a quick second. Yeah, I'm seeing justice, righting the wrongs in this incarnation, not allowing to be, don't gaslight yourself, don't breadcrumb yourself. With the 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, you're not sure what to actually invest in, what to do. You're at a standstill, which is not good. Into the Queen of Wands, fire energy. The Queen of Wands is a go-getter. It's a co-creator. It's more of like closer to a Kali energy, which is badass. But I'm seeing you, and it's not just a queen. It's not gender specific. It could be a man. But it's getting shit done. Tell me more. Are they going to be successful? 6 of Wands, absolutely successful. There's a lot of fire and creativity. So it looks to me like justice is being served. Breadcrumbing ends. You're not sure how you're going to do it, but you're going to do it. So I'm going to actually retract what I said. It looks like you're moving forward into the Queen of Wands, getting shit done. 6 of Wands is the conquering hero. Into the Page of Cups, getting messages of love that actually support you. Into the 10 of Pentacles, creating a legacy for the next, not just this incarnation, but the next incarnation. Bottom of the deck is a warning. Don't get emotionally confused. Just get shit done. Whatever comes in front of you that feels good, get it done. Don't keep hesitating. Don't hit the brakes every 5 seconds. You'll never, don't do that. All right? All right, well, I'm glad that you guys were here. I hope this helped on the hypnotherapy. I hope this answered some questions. Any questions or comments before I go? Just making sure. Okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and upload this on YouTube. I did another live. Cool pick. Yeah, thank you. I did another live earlier today, just actually literally right before this one. This one is under lives, just look it up. And it was about the crystal skulls, the Mitchell Hedges crystal skulls, and skull, actually it's one. And that the whole concept of Atlantis, portals, 5D consciousness, things of that nature. Hypnotherapy, I wanted to do it completely different on TikTok. And the reason I wanted to do that here is because I feel as if there are a lot of people that are afraid of their own minds, of their own soul, right? Which is kind of like, I don't know, I can't find a very it's crazy. Why are you afraid of yourself? You are a soul that has had all of these experiences. And when you go into a hypnotherapy session, you're actually, your soul is pulling down what it wants you to deal with now. What is relevant to you now. What you need to forgive or let go or release or purge now for your greater good. So you can raise your vibration to prepare yourself for the ascension. I started doing it when I was 32. Damn near 30 years ago. And I can't tell you how it has changed my life. And this is why I got certified to do it, because I totally believed in it. So when I was looking at various training, I just went with the Newton Institute with Michael Newton because his books were compelling. I like Dolores Cannon, okay? I've read her books, but they did not wow me. I'm not kidding. The way he wowed me. And I'm not sure, I still don't know why, because I feel Dolores Cannon's quantum healing is really, really good. So if you're looking for something more in that way, but I also feel that they're words. And I feel like they are layered in words and promises. And ultimately, the only person that can quantum heal is you. The only person that can do a life between life is you. Are we the facilitators to help you get there? Asking you multiple questions before we can drain the cup of this download? Absolutely. We help you with that, with the questions we ask. But ultimately, you have to decide, I surrender. I'm safe. No one's going to harm me. I'm in my own fucking house. I'm going to be good in what I'm going to find. I'm going to let my soul show me. My soul only wants the best for me. And I'm going to let go. Because the gatekeeper to you being able to get the full benefit of hypnotherapy is actually your monkey mind. That's the deal. And that's sad. Because when you don't breathe into it, when you don't cannonball into the images coming in and going, I'm not going to think about it. I'm not editing. In fact, that's what I tell my clients. I say, whatever you do, don't fucking edit. Don't pause. Don't try to figure it out. Describe to me everything you see as you see it. Don't try to think about it. Don't second guess. Do not stop. As you see it rolling through, go ahead and tell me what you see. And I'll ask you more and more details. Does that make sense? And I know that clients have done hypnotherapy with other hypnotherapists, and I would say, oh, so how did you look? Right? How did you, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know? You don't know? And one of the things that I was taught by Michael Newton, which I love, and it's important to me, is that I'm always looking for a reflector. Turn around, let's see what you look like. Look at your feet. What are you wearing? Look at your hands. What are you wearing? Look at a reflection of yourself. There it is. It's appearing out of nowhere. What do you look like? Do you have black hair, red hair? And I don't say that. I say, what do you look like? And they'll say, I have no hair. Oh, okay. What color are you? I have blue skin. Okay. And your eyes, what do they look like? Do you have eyes? And we go from there. In some cases, if it's a past life in this particular incarnation, like for example, I had a client, she was a 12-year-old girl, looked like it was Scotland, looked like it was the 1800s, and it looked like she was just hanging out and going, not wanting to be back in her mom's house. Her father was a sailor of some kind or traveling, and she did not want to go home. Her mother was a pain in the fucking ass, okay? And that was one of her lives. The next incarnation she had, she was a man. One of my clients was in Egypt, and she was an Andromedan. And she detailed what she looked like. One client was in the 14th dimension and was not in form yet, plasmic, and was actually going through the process of lowering her, going down the dimensions to start taking incarnations in what we call the physical. For example, I have one client who literally I could tell, because again, I don't mean to intrude on people's thoughts, but I was psychic, and I could tell that she was. I asked her, "What do your hands look like?" And look at your hands, tell me what you see. And she paused, and right away I saw 3 fingers, and I knew she was not seeing 5, and I knew she was not seeing human hands. After the session, I said, "Tell me, why didn't you tell me that you didn't really see 5 fingers?" She goes, it just didn't make sense. And she described what she actually saw that she had held back on. So now in my inductions, I try really, really hard to make sure, because I'm like giving you suggestions, right? Before you go in. And of course, I give you suggestions after, as we bring you back up. And the suggestions I give you are about releasing a lot of any blockages in your throat chakra, feeling light, feeling powerful, getting more downloads as you progress through the coming years, believing in your downloads, discerning between corrupted downloads and cleared. In other words, what I'm trying to do is create a situation where, since you're being hypnotized, we might as well get some benefits that include feeling great, sleeping well, enjoying this incarnation for all that it has to give you, right? And realizing that you have a voice. It's important. So there's a lot of things that you can do in these hypnotherapy sessions. It's really, but ultimately it's up to you. It's up to you to surrender, release, and trust yourself. Trust your soul. All right? All right. Any other questions before I go? Nothing? Okay. Sending you much love on your journey. I'll talk to you soon. I'll upload this on YouTube, and I'll see if I can upload this on TikTok. We'll see. All right. Namaste. Be well.